Hey guys, in today's video I wanted to show you how I did this Valentine's inspired nail art. I think that it's very beginner friendly, so if you're starting out, I'm sure that it's gonna work for you. But first, I'm gonna put the form completely straight because in today's video I'm gonna be doing square shaped nails. This first nail is going to be pretty simple. All I'm gonna do is use this pink acrylic and I'm gonna put the first bit between the natural nail and the form. Slowly, I'm gonna push the acrylic downwards until it gets pretty long. In today's video, I'm gonna be doing very long nails, but if you guys don't want them to be this long, that's fine. Short nails are gonna work just as great. I'm gonna keep adding some more beads until it's the thickness that I like. And now that the shape is done, I'm gonna be adding the last bead. Here, I'm gonna cover the entire nail and I'm gonna make sure that there's no spots left behind. This is how this first nail looks like. Now I'm gonna be adding some pressure on the sides. You guys know that I always like to do this step because it makes the nails have more of a C shape and it makes them look more natural. Now moving on to the second one, this one is going to be quite different because I'm actually going to do an ombre design between these two pinks. First, I'm going to be using this brighter one, and here what I'm going to do is that I'm going to create the tip of the nail. I'm going to keep pushing the acrylic until it gets on the upper half of the nail. And now that I have this done, something extra that I wanted to add is a little bit of sparkles. So I'm going to be using these pink ones, and I'm only going to add a very thin layer on top of the pink acrylic. Now that I have this done, I'm going to be using the lighter pink and I'm going to finish up doing this ombre design. The way that I like to do it is that I create pretty liquid beads because it helps me kind of mix both of the colors together. And then I use my brush to keep pushing the acrylic downwards until they both kind of melt. Now I'm going to keep pushing the acrylic until the rest of the nail is covered. And something extra that I like to do when I do this type of designs is that I like to encapsulate the nail. You guys don't have to do this if you don't want to, but I feel like it makes the colors last longer and it makes the whole design look better. This is so simple. Basically, I'm going to be using this crystal clear acrylic and I'm going to keep adding some beads until the entire nail is well encapsulated. And to finish up, I'm still going to add some pressure on the sides. On this third nail, I'm only going to be using this darker pink and I'm going to add the first bead between the natural nail and the form. Just like I done on the first one, I'm going to keep pushing the acrylic downwards until the nail gets pretty long. When you guys are using acrylic, what I recommend you is to clean the brush as often as possible. I always like to keep a paper on the side and I use the same monomer to clean the brush because otherwise it can eventually get ruined. And I'm gonna finish up doing this third nail by applying the last bead. I'm gonna connect everything and I'm gonna keep pushing it until it gets up near the cuticle. But remember not to touch the cuticle or the skin because that can eventually cause some lifting. And just like I done on the second nail, I'm also going to be adding some more sparkles. I think that the whole design looks better this way. And since I added some sparkles, I'm also going to be encapsulating this third nail using the same crystal clear acrylic. Make sure that everything is well encapsulated because otherwise it's going to be really hard to file this nail. And this is how this third nail looks like. Now moving on to the last one. Here I'm actually going to encapsulate a bunch of glitter. So I'm going to start by creating this thin layer of crystal clear acrylic because it's going to serve me as a base. On this nail, I'm going to be adding two different types of glitter. I'm going to start with this pink one that I already used. And this is so easy. All I'm doing is that I'm creating small beads of crystal clear acrylic and I'm putting the glitter on top so it can be easy for me to move and put it wherever I want it to go. Now that I'm done with the first glitter, I'm gonna put the second one, which I think it's my favorite because I love these type of chunky glitters. I think they look so pretty. I'm going to be putting it all over the nail. And to finish up, I'm gonna be encapsulating this nail. Make sure that you do this, especially when you add glitter. This is so important. I'm gonna be using the same crystal clear acrylic. When I encapsulate nails, I start from up near the cuticle and I keep pushing it downwards until the entire nail is well covered. And of course, I'm gonna apply some pressure on the sides. And this is how these acrylic nails look like. Like you guys can tell, they don't look perfect, but that's why I always say that filing is one of the most important steps. When I file nails, I like to start by filing the sides. And since these are square shaped, I'm gonna make sure that the file is completely straight. And this is how the nails look like after filing the sides. Now they look a lot more defined. And the last step to do is to file the surface. I like doing this using my e-file, but if you guys want to, you can use a regular one. Here, I'm gonna be filing down these nails until they're pretty thin. And also, if there's any bumps left behind, I'm gonna make sure to file them. And this is how the nails look like after being filed. Now I'm gonna be cleaning them with a brush because after filing there's always some dust left behind. And I'm gonna start doing the design just like I told you earlier. It's going to be pretty simple. All you're gonna need is a very thin nail art brush. And I'm gonna start with the first nail here. I'm gonna be creating this type of French design. So I'm gonna do this curvy line that is going to serve me as a base. Now I'm gonna start adding the rest of the pink on the tip of the nail, but the only difference is that I'm not gonna be curing it because I'm actually gonna be adding more sparkles. Of course, in this design it's all about the sparkles, so I'm gonna be using the same pink ones. I recommend you to put something underneath because adding sparkles can make a little bit of a mess. And I'm gonna be putting it on top of all of the nail and I'm gonna cure it for about 60 seconds. And this is how it looks like. Now moving on to the second one, here's where I'm going to be making the hearts. And I'm actually gonna use this white gel paint from Not Polished because it already has the nail art brush included with it. But if you guys don't have them, that's fine. You can use any other. Just make sure that the brush is very thin. And these hearts, I think that they're really easy. So if you guys are starting out, I'm sure that you can do it as well. Basically, what I'm trying to do is make them as thin as possible and have them all kind of look the same, even though some of them are smaller than others. But the most important part of this design is that I'm trying to make the lines as thin as possible. I want them all to kind of look the same. I feel like the design looks better this way. And I'm also going to be drawing the hearts on top of each other. I think that it looks really cute, but if you guys don't like them, of course, you can just switch it up. Also, on the second nail, I'm only going to be drawing the hearts wherever I put the dark pink acrylic. And this is how the second nail ended up looking. Now moving on to the third one. Here I'm also gonna do the hearts and I'm gonna try to do them in different sizes. I want some of them to be bigger, other ones smaller, but the thickness is gonna stay the same. I'm gonna try to make it as thin as possible. Also, something different is that here I'm gonna be starting from the top and then I'm gonna be drawing the hearts all the way down to the tip of the nail. When you guys are doing this, I recommend you to cure each heart as you go on because otherwise what can happen is that everything can get messy. What I do is that I cure them for 60 seconds each. And this is how the hearts ended up looking. Now moving on to the last step, which is my favorite. I'm gonna be adding a little bit of top coat. On this first nail, I'm actually gonna be using this very thin nail art brush because I'm only gonna put it where I added the pink acrylic. But when you guys add top coat, you can really get to see how the colors ended up looking, and the glitter looks much better. I'm going to finish up adding the rest, and I'm gonna cure it for about 60 seconds. And this is how the final design ended up looking. Like I told you earlier, I think that this is very beginner friendly because the hearts are pretty simple to make. And honestly, I love the combination between the two pinks. I think that it ended up looking really cute. If you guys like this tutorial, make sure to subscribe and like this video. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!